Well, hey folks, welcome back. And what do you got there, Tom? 3 racks of ribs, 2 full chickens. So you're wondering, what are you going to cook that on? Well, if you're in the market or thinking about getting a pellet grill, but you don't want to get one of those big behemoths, and you're thinking about something, I want something a little bit more mid-sized to small, and maybe to be portable. Well, folks, I'm going to show you today that we can get 3 full racks of ribs, 2 spatchcocked chickens, all on the Pursuit pellet grill from Camp Chef, which they market as a portable small pellet grill. I disagree. I think it's bigger than that. Stay tuned and I'll show you how we're going to fit them all on there. All right, first things first, let's get our ribs all prepped up. Pulled the skin, washed them off real good. I've applied a little bit of the Zhang stir fry oil. You know, I put this stuff on everything. Wasn't there a commercial for like hot sauce that said that puts that stuff on everything? I really do. And then for seasoning, going with this brown sugar bourbon from Grill Mates. Stuff is perfect on ribs. So just apply it liberally, or as much as you want. And obviously we're going to let that sit for a little bit before we put them. Ultimately, this would have been best to do this last night and let them sit in the fridge overnight. But time is a precious commodity, and we don't have much of it today. So stay tuned. Let's get those chickens ready. All right, you've seen me do this before, but I'm going to do it again for you. Got the chicken, got it all nice and washed off, and we're spatchcocking it, which means taking out the backbone. We've already cut one size. I like to use a poultry shears, but make sure you get a good one. So, you know, I don't know what we paid for these. Got it on Amazon. I don't know if you can see, it's by Wolfgang Puck, but it makes all the difference to have the right poultry shears. Be careful not to cut your fingers off when you're doing this, but I tell you what, it goes right through this. Just like that. So then you take and you come around like this, you take a knife, and you got a notch right there. See that notch? You got to cut that bone just like that. And then just break it, and then you're laying it flat. And you know, if there's any excess fat or something like that, this would be a good time to just take and try and get rid of some of that excess fat, some of that hard fat in there, that serves no purpose. So I'll get that all out of there, and then I'll show you how we're going to season this up. All right, we got it flipped around here. We did put some Zhangs on the other side, and then what I'm using today is I'm using this Big Kahuna from Cindy Lou's. I like this stuff. So on the breast side and all that, putting it on the skin itself, because we're doing pulled chicken, the skin's not going to be, I mean, you're flavoring this chicken, but you're not really flavoring the meat. So what you do is you want to loosen this up, the skin up, and I've already done that. Get your fingers in there and loosen things up. Then I got a little bit of the Cindy Lou's in there, and you can see you just kind of want to sprinkle it in there. Then take your fingers and kind of work it around and get it all on, all nice and lathered up in there. I'll tell you what, it'll give some nice taste. And then if you want to put a little bit on the outside just for show, go for it. But it's really not going to do. It really ain't going to do anything. You know, look good for presentation, though, if that's what you're into. So let's get the other one prepped up, and then I'll tell you what. I'll get that other one prepped up. You stay tuned. We'll see you over at the grill. All right, we're down at the grill. Let's take a quick look before we put the ribs and the chicken on as to why I think we can get these all on. So to better understand the design of this grill and of the Camp Chef, because my woodwind is exactly the same way. As you can notice, most pellet grills are a cylinder, meaning they're round. Camp Chef has basically taken in, if you're familiar with what a bread box looks like, they've done the bread box design. And that's what they've got on these. So you've got straight backs and bottoms, which allows for that upper shelf to be the exact same size as the lower shelf. And that's what gives us the room. So I'll tell you what, I know you're waiting to see if we can get those ribs and chicken on there. Let's get them on. Well, can you fit 3 racks of ribs and 2 full chickens spatchcocked on this little Camp Chef Pursuit? Yes, you can. And there they are, folks. Like I said, it's the design of this thing that allows that to happen. So 220 high smoke seems to be one of my favorite settings on this grill. We're going to let that go for at least 2 hours, and then we'll bump it up. My goal is to get this done in about 5 hours or so. So stay tuned, and we'll give you look-sees along the way. All right, so you're probably wondering why I'm showing this, folks. Every so often I feel the need to talk a little bit about food safety. Obviously this chicken we're going to cook up to 165 internal. The ribs are going to be toothpick tender, but you saw the prep process, and there's a lot of chances for cross-contamination there with the chicken, the raw chicken, and the raw meat. So always make sure you're washing up everything. Hot soap and water, even like my Zang's bottle, and what I was using for seasoning. I'll make sure I wash those bottles real good. And obviously your hands, every time you're working with that stuff, you want to wash them immediately afterwards before you touch anything else with some good soap in that. So there's your food safety tip today. Let's get back to the cooking, shall we? All right, folks, 2 hours mark. We're still running the high smoke here, 220. Some nice smoke coming out of there. Let's take a quick look at our ribs and chicken, shall we? Oh yeah, and you can see chicken down yonder. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a probe into the chicken and start running a probe. Like I said, 165 is when I'm going to pull them and wrap them, let them cool down, and then I'll pull them. The ribs, we're probably going to bump up to 300 here, go another hour, and then I'm probably going to wrap them and let them go the rest of the way like that, opening them once at the very end to put the sauce on and get that set up. So stay tuned and we'll show you all that. All right, folks, here's a quick shot. Took the ribs off after 3 hours, put a little apple juice, gonna wrap them, let them go for another hour, totally wrapped, then pull them and then sauce them. Probably an hour and a half, and then only sauce them for a half an hour. Stay tuned, we'll show you once they're on the grill and sauced. All right, chicken's off, chicken's done. That was a little over 3 hours, 165. We're gonna cover that with some tin foil, let that sit for an hour before we pull it. Remember, those ribs are gonna go on for another hour, hour and a half, and then we're gonna sauce them and let them go the rest of the way. Stay tuned and I'll show you. Next thing you'll see is the ribs getting sauced. Stay tuned for saucing. All right, folks, just sauced the ribs. As you can see, that's what we used, Famous Dave's Sweet and Zesty. Take a quick look. They are toothpick tender. So I set the nice color on them. Bones are poking out. I'll tell you what, very nice. I'm gonna let this set for about a half an hour. I did turn it down to the low smoke setting, which is 160. And we'll let this just go for maybe a half an hour, 20 minutes. I gotta pull that chicken. Let's go take a look at that. All right, folks, there's the final product. Oh man, it turned out great. I gotta make a quick delivery here. And folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. A lot of capacity on that little pellet grill from Camp Chef. Tom Horseman at YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it.